I want to talk about in this video very quickly about the value and the importance of starting to meditate and what effect that has on your subconscious mind and the clarity that you have day to day. I don't know if you guys ever feel the kind of fuzziness or the kind of brain fog where you feel distracted. It's kind of like ADHD, where maybe you go and doom scroll or you watch this video, or you're kind of not being productive. You're procrastinating. Maybe you wake up late, you sleep in, you snooze. You do all these kinds of little things where you know you self-sabotage. They're not that big a deal. You still go to work, you still kind of take out the trash, you get done most of the things you need to do, but you also know that there's like a little bit, like 5 or 10% of the time you spend that's being wasted on kind of bullshit, right? Frankly, that happens because of brain fog, and that happens because your subconscious mind is not very clear on exactly what it needs to do. I want to elaborate in a second. So when I was doing a meditation last night, and this is something that happens often, I was in a very deep focus state where my mind was clear. It was pretty much empty of all thoughts. And that is when all my conscious thoughts, like anything about the day, what am I going to do tomorrow, what am I going to eat, all that stuff was gone. The only thing I could hear very quietly is I could genuinely hear my own thoughts. And these were not my conscious thoughts, these were subconscious thoughts. And I was kind of like hearing things like mostly from sales calls, right? I had like sales calls kind of playing back in my head. And it was crazy because I wasn't consciously thinking about it. I didn't go to bed thinking, let's now think about sales calls. But they were playing back in my head, something a prospect said or something I said, maybe something I had done, all this kind of stuff, YouTube related. What's been on my mind a lot recently was playing in the back of my head. And there were like almost little commands there. There's like, you did this good or you did that bad. And I actually had some subconscious thoughts coming back to me, which are like, don't worry about like the sales call, like it's okay, you'll have another call, like these kinds of positive things, because I've affirmed it over and over and over again. But what you don't realize is, could you imagine that, when you were to, like if you're very drunk or if you're very like high or something like that, if any of you guys have ever been that way, you're much more easy to influence. You don't think that much. There's a very, very like blurry layer between, your actions and your conscious thought, right? You kind of hear something, your friend's like, yo, let's go do that. And then you're like, screw it, let's go do it. It's kind of the same thing with the subconscious mind. But it's tiny and it's quiet and you can't tell, right? When you guys start to meditate and you get much more conscious of the thoughts that play in the back of your head, you're able to make much clearer decisions, and you also get to influence the trajectory that's automatic. So all those little automatic things you do where you procrastinate or you doom scroll or you don't take out the trash or you snooze, those are your subconscious mind kind of telling you that that's okay, because it's always been okay and that's always been your belief and that's always been fine for you. You've got to find a way to change that. So I really want to go ahead and encourage everybody who watches this video to develop the practice of meditation. And I want to tell you right now, you're going to sit down and you're going to put on some music or nothing, and you're going to have thoughts in your head, and you're going to like try and think of nothing, and it's going to be so hard and so difficult. And you're like, what the hell am I doing right now? That is how it always is at the start. I promise you, your first 1 to 5 meditation sessions will not be easy. They're not going to be fun. You might not understand what the hell is going on until you feel that maybe 30-second moment, that 1-minute moment in like a 30-minute meditation of extreme clarity. And like maybe for a minute, you just feel really peaceful and really good. That is when it matters. And I promise you right now, if you develop this habit, your brain will get used to that stillness and that quiet. Like even now, I'm at a point where I could close my eyes in the middle of a sales day that's hectic and stressful. And if I have about 1 to 5 minutes of still time, I can go into a very good focus state in my mind, relax, talk to myself, and get back on track. If you can develop this skill, it'll allow you to make much more effective and premeditated and conscious decisions. It will also allow you to rewire your mind, and the small things that you have in your mind from childhood, like maybe I'm not worthy, I'm not capable, this is so hard, life is difficult. Like for example, right? If all your whole life you have seen, for example, my parents, right? They worked really hard coming to Canada and everything that they did, right? But I think I internalized as a young kid that like making money and like being successful is like really hard. And like growing up, I had that thought over and over and over, and I internalized that. So now, when I might have all the opportunity in the world to be successful, I'm going to force myself to make things hard because my subconscious mind believes it has to be hard to get there. Do you get what I mean? Right? I've now just developed the belief that to be successful, before I get there, it has to be hard. And don't get me wrong, there's going to be difficulty, but that's not always true. Sometimes it's not the case. Sometimes it's not hard, but you make it hard, because that's what you believe. So your subconscious mind is so incredibly powerful in setting the trajectory for your life. That's why if you can find a way to rewire your brain, if you can in fact find a way to change your subconscious beliefs and the really, really deep beliefs that you have, you will not only adjust your trajectory automatically, but you'll also be able to be far more effective when you're conscious and when you're making decisions during the day. That's why I can really credit a lot of the progress and growth and even some success I've had recently over the past couple of months and years. It really comes down to that subconscious mind, being able to meditate, have those still times, reflect, journal. All those things are amazing. Really talking to yourself and understanding what are the thoughts that are popping up, because we all have them. It's all this huge, bucket of thoughts, and it's all murky and dirty. But if you meditate, it's like making that water clean. It's the equivalent of it. You're still gonna have thoughts, but they're gonna be much clearer, and you're gonna be conscious of them and very aware. That's the word. Use this video as a sign to go ahead and meditate much more. Thanks guys so much for watching. That is it. Peace.